I want to put it on record that we are really privileged and honored as Kenya to host the UNEP and Habitat headquarters, the only one in the Global South. And we are also alive to the fact that the United Nations has committed over the next few years to a major expansion of the facility in Nairobi. They're going to spend over $350 million to be able to expand the facility so that it can host many more functions of the United Nations, and at the same time have the capacity to host a General Assembly, basically putting it at par with the headquarters in New York and at par with Geneva. So I want this to be on record, because people are throwing around a lot of unnecessary information, almost giving the impression that Kenya does not appreciate that the United Nations has such a major footprint in this country. We are fully alive to it. And the government of Kenya is in turn working progressively in consultation with them so that we can continue to improve the facilities that will make Nairobi even more accessible and more friendly to a broad section of international organizations that want to make Nairobi their station. This is something we cherish, we value, and we will continue to work with the international community so that that opportunity is fully exploited for the benefit of Kenya and indeed of the international community. Turning to INC 5.2, I recommend the following. First, we should aim to adopt an international, legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution this August in Geneva. The instrument should cover the full life cycle of plastics, backed by provision of requisite financial resources, technology, and capacity building. Second, the world needs to adopt multifaceted approaches that can power the much-needed just transitioning to green development pathways. And third, we must phase out single-use plastics while promoting use of biodegradables and circular economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the international environmental governance remains fragmented. This has resulted in policy inconsistency, minimal cooperation with increased competition among multilateral environment agreements. There's a lot of duplication and less effective outcomes given that limited resources are living with us now. Together, let us build on the current progress to achieve consensus in all the upcoming meetings. Africa has already taken a bold decision to support UNEP as the Secretariat of the Plastic Treaty. This is a major step towards streamlining international environmental governance in line with the spirit and letter of paragraph 88 of the Future We Want. And why we are so keen to have the plastics treaty, domiciled here, is because this is the headquarters for UNEP. And if we are looking at managing resources well, and this was part of the conversation in the C80 conversation at the United Nations, then rationally, it makes a lot of sense to consolidate. And since the UNEP is here, the consolidation would make a lot of sense in the whole rationalization that is going on within the global framework, taking into account that resources have become scarce for many sectors. We have seen whether it is health, whether it is agriculture, whether it is education, even for security matters, resources are becoming scarce. So it calls on all of us, not just as the international community, but even as nations, to become even more prudent in the utilization of the resources that are available at this point in time.